Somebody tell a joke.
You're lucky, I'm gonna take the chip.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Leister.
And I'm Teresa Gazaway, and we are your moderators of tonight's New Providence Candidate Forum. The forum is part of our ongoing voter education efforts to help voters make informed decisions at the upcoming election. We hope that over the course of this program, you will learn more about the candidates and what they will do for New Providence.
I will start by explaining some procedures for the forum, which each candidate received ahead of time. 2 minutes for a closing statement, and 1.5 minutes to answer each question. There will be a 30-second rebuttal for each group after each question. Opening and closing statements will be done in the following order. Brian will go first, followed by Alex and Diane. The Democratic and Republican municipal committees have prepared 3 questions each for all candidates to answer. The order of the questions are randomized, and the response order is also randomized. I will ask the questions prepared by the Democratic Committee, and Teresa will serve as and she will ask the questions prepared by the Republican Committee, and our timekeeper will be Karen Leister. When there's a half a minute left on your speaking time, the timekeeper Karen will hold up a card, one indicating 30 seconds left, and one indicating, please stop. And it says here, and I'm reading this, Mayor, please wrap up when you see the stop card. If you continue speaking after the stop card is held, as 2 minutes for an opening statement, 2 minutes for a closing statement, and 1.5 minutes to answer each question.
Should be 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that change.
It's also a minute and a half for closing.
Terrific.
So 2 minutes for the opening.
Yep.
2 minutes for the questions, 30 seconds for the rebuttal, and 1.5 for the closing.
You're the one who needs to know that.
John, that's what you said, isn't it?
Okay.
Need to check myself.
So we have that clarified now. Thank you. Clear as mud. And one other thing, as an addition here, is personal references about other candidates and any bald jokes are out of order.
I'll second that.
Instructions for the audience. If you would please turn off cell phones and any beeping watches now. We request that you treat all candidates fairly. Please remain quiet throughout the forum. No clapping, cheering, or calling out, with the exception that after their closing statements, you may clap for all candidates if you wish. No campaign literature or signs are allowed inside of this room. Opening statements. We'll begin the forum with opening statements. The order is Brian, Alex, Alan, and Diane.
All right, there we go. Good evening. I'm Brian Gardner. I'd like to extend a warm thank you to our moderators, our timekeeper, my fellow candidates, and everyone here for joining us. I love seeing a packed house. I've lived in town for over 2 decades. I have 2 kids in our schools, and my wife's a high school teacher. I'm an Eagle Scout. I have a master's from Columbia, plus certifications in strategic leadership and project management. I have personnel, budget, and organizational leadership experience, and I'm the Chief Information Officer for a community college. More importantly, I'm an active volunteer. I help out at church, with Scouts, with our schools, and many other groups. So, why run for council? Quite simply, I want to help build a better community together, one where smart investments, inclusive leadership, and future-focused planning make New Providence an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. I want to step up and serve. Here's what I'll do. I'll work tirelessly to improve our town and its services. Someone asked me, do I think it's too late to fix our downtown? Absolutely not. We need to tackle traffic, bike and pedestrian safety, we need to keep improving our infrastructure, And I am dedicated to better engagement with and service, real customer service for our residents. There's also risk in not doing things. We can't just assume that our town will magically stay the same. We need a better plan. You'll hear a lot of, there's nothing we can do about this, or that's out of our control, and honestly, I have a problem with that. What I do all day, every day, is find creative solutions to solve, and creative ways to solve problems and help folks. If one thing doesn't work, try something else. Something takes time, let's get started. We have new challenges facing us. We need to be proactive, not reactive, to keep our town safe, thriving, charming, and green. Thank you.
Alex?
Thank you, and thank you to Teresa and John and our timekeeper. So my wife, Barbara, of 29 years, there she is standing in the back, and I've resided in New Providence for 21 years. Like many of you, we moved from New York City seeking a safe, thriving community with great amenities and great schools. During my time in New Providence, I've been a parent, a coach, a volunteer, and an active resident of our vibrant community. Our two sons were raised in New Providence, they're here tonight too, attending Robert School, the middle school, and the New Providence High School. So what have I done prior to being a councilman? I served as president of the New Providence Soccer Club for 10 years with a membership of 500 players. I coached numerous teams, 26 seasons to be exact. I served on the New Providence Community Advisory Board for 11 years, which was an oversight committee for the Senior Center and the Recreation Department. I served on the NP Athletic Foundation that provided the turf and lighting for the high school field, partnering with the Board of Education and the Borough of New Providence. I served as a member of New Providence Zoning Board for 3 years. I have an electrical engineering degree from Bucknell University and an MBA in management from Brewer College. Throughout my engineering career, I've been fortunate to serve many academic, research, and cultural institutions, including where I currently work, Rockefeller University, American Museum of Natural History, and Lincoln Center. So I currently manage a massive physical plant with approximately 2 million square feet of laboratory and residential space in New York City, with about 180 essential staff. My focus for running for re-election is to continue to constantly explore innovative ways to keep our community thriving while focusing on safety infrastructure planning. Our mayor and council have done a phenomenal job in making New Providence one of the best small towns in New Jersey, and I simply want to help in continuing to leverage my experience in order to continue to help our community. Right on time.
Alan?
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. I'm Alan Lerner, and I'm running to become the next member elected to the Borough Council. I ran last year for council with our now newly elected member, Kathleen Dolan. But as a testament to my dedication to New Providence, I'm running again. I never quit. New Providence is my home, it's not just where I live. So for those who don't know me, I am the father to a very active and rising second grader at AWR. I started out volunteer coaching T-ball for rec. I continued volunteering, and I've been the head coach of the UA Girls Pioneer Softball team for PAL for the past 2 years, and I've even brought a championship to our town. Why do I want to be on council? I feel it's an extension of my volunteer work. I love public service and giving back, and that's what I plan to do if elected. My father was a CPA and my mother a New York City public school teacher. They taught me the value of hard work. As a third-generation Jewish, Ukrainian, Polish immigrant, I firmly believe in the American dream, and I'm a testament to that. So if it isn't obvious, I came from the fitness industry. While pursuing my degree in physical therapy, I ran a private personal training and fitness consulting firm and managed multiple trainers and gyms around New York City before selling my company and ultimately going to real estate. I worked under the executive directors of Corcoran for almost a decade before opening up my own firm. I know how to lead, I know how to manage, and I know how to work together. And that's what I'm here and that's what I'm about. I'm here to offer fresh eyes and new ideas that can be a collaboration between all members and ultimately make New Providence work better together. Brian and I are prepared to have those tough conversations and think outside the box when it comes to a better New Providence. And we will leave no stone unturned. I love New Providence, which is why I moved my family here, and I'm ready to make it better. Whether it's volunteering in the classroom, being one of the only male members of the PTA that actually shows up at meetings, sponsoring school events, or volunteering for our senior community, I want to serve New Providence and be part of a council that actually represents the ever-changing demographics of this amazing town. That was our time.
4 seconds to go.
Good. thank you guys for doing it. I'll thank you guys on the first.
For the first question, the order Diane.
D for Diana. You ready? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. My husband Tony and I purchased a home in New Providence 29 years ago because we fell in love with its charm while looking for houses. Our 3 children went through the New Providence School District. Diane Belisca Pereira could be found as a mystery reader, as a room parent, running the book fair at Saltbrook, feeding our marching band kids, working on a fall play or a spring musical, or running the high school PTSA. I have taught preschool classes at the rec, managed numerous soccer teams, coached rec and OLP basketball teams, been a den leader for 9 years, and collect sandwiches weekly at OLP. And many of you now know me as Diane Belisca, working as an elected official on Borough Council for the last 4 years. I grew up in Union, the youngest of 3 children. My father's unexpected death when I was 10 shaped many aspects of my life. It taught me to never take things for granted, the benefits of a close-knit community like ours, and always helping others. Tragedies have unexpected consequences. Mine taught me to be curious, to question, to be able to pivot, and to think outside the box. During my 4 years on council, I have served on almost every single committee. My background in accounting and finance is a valuable tool that permeates through everything I do. New Providence does not look like it did 10 years ago. We've upgraded fields, built a new cricket pitch and pickleball courts, and have consistently made steady upgrades to infrastructure, which, while not shiny and obvious, are necessary to keep New Providence safe, strong, and sustainable. We have submitted our application for silver status with Sustainable New Jersey, a goal I've been passionate about, and we have kept taxes consistent and predictable at a time when taxes in some towns around the state are jumping double digits. We made smart, proactive decisions, like moving to the Union County Shared Dispatch Center because it made sense for New Providence. My knowledge, experience, and community involvement is why I want to continue to serve the residents as your councilman.
First question, where will you add value on Borough Council based on your personal and professional qualifications?
Thank you for the question. I don't think, in my opening statement, I told you what I've done at New Providence already in my volunteer work, so perhaps I'll speak to my professional career. So Rockefeller University is the world's leading institution in biomedical research. A lot of people don't know we recruit from Harvard, MIT, and Stanford. We are the cream of the crop when it comes to scientists. We have an extremely large physical plant, 2 million square feet of laboratory space and residential space. We have our own central plant. We make all of our own cooling and heating that heats and cools all of our buildings. We're an extremely sustainable university. I chair our sustainability committee. With our peer institutions in Manhattan, such as Columbia University, we've reduced our carbon footprint by 40% under my guidance. We have many types of buildings. We have hospitals, we have vivariums, we have biosafety level 3 facilities. I build those, I manage those, and currently several data centers that we're building for AI research. I work with Nobel laureates. I understand when people give me problems. I'm in the complaint department. Nobody ever tells me the lights are working today, the HVAC is working. It's really the complaint department. And guess what? I like complaints because at least you know what we have to do and what's in front of us. That helps here in New Providence. Residents are constantly telling us about their problems, and we need to aggressively look at their concerns, see what we can do to help. The borough is limited sometimes on what we can and cannot do. But this is what I do every single day, day in and day out. And I pledge to everyone here, and you've seen my performance in the last 3 years, that we will continue to respond to every resident and address every concern that they have. Thank you.
Can you read the question one more time?
Where will you add value on Borough Council based on your personal and professional qualifications?
Okay, let's see how I can answer this. One of the biggest issues facing our town is real estate development or overdevelopment. I could have sworn I heard someone mention in their opening statement they worked in real estate. Yeah, that was me. So look, you want to tout your accolades on the council, mazel tov. You're on the council, I think you're doing a good job, I think I can do better. My strengths lie in problem solving, logistical and analytic solutions, and my ability to work together. My almost 30 years in the service industry brings in a wealth of knowledge and understanding of how to work and collaborate with all sorts of personalities and people. And maybe my strongest flex is being married to the same amazing woman for 25 years. So I know how to listen and make things work. Thank you.
A little background for you. I have a BS in accounting from Seton Hall. I've worked as a CPA in public accounting and finance. I've managed both small teams and large teams. I have successfully completed projects like completing a library at my children's preschool and the courtyard renovation at this New Providence High School. And I've raised 2 Eagle Scouts and 3 extremely talented, giving children who I'm exceedingly proud of. Fast forward, I am honored and humbled to represent our borough in my current role. I feel I have added value already as a member of the Borough Council for 4 years. And the short, being on council is hard. It has a completely different set of rules unless you've worked in government before. We have laws that we have to follow for transparency, like the Sunshine Law. So basically, you can't have more than 3 people together unless it's in an open forum, which is really difficult in trying to get things done efficiently, but we try our best. I know how to work with people and to leverage experiences. I've worked with a ton of people in Providence and the surrounding areas, and I love it. I love problem solving. New Providence is a wonderful town. People move to New Providence because of this town. It's excellent management and it's excellent stewardship. To be an effective borough council member, you have to work as a member of a team. You have to love this town and put the needs of the town first. Some examples of my work on borough council that I'm very proud of is in finance, when I chaired the finance committee. We had one of the lowest tax increases at 0.89% without sacrificing services and keeping our AAA bond rating. Communications, we have a new website, and just at this last storm, we worked with the borough after the last storm, and our communications with the residents have increased, and we heard you. I talked to numerous people, and it called every single person back. I'm excited about our Revolution 250 committee, which is a celebration of our amazing country's 250th anniversary, but we want to highlight the borough's history with that.
So a couple of things come to mind when thinking about this question. The first is, as I mentioned in my opening, I am a certified project management professional. So I know how to create a scope of work. I know how to bring that work to conclusion to meet the needs of the stakeholders. And in this case, the stakeholders are the residents of the town. So I can get things done for the town. I have a very proven track record for that in my professional career. I'm also very passionate about issues of diversity. For anyone who was at the last Borough Council meeting, Councilwoman Dolan was there and she was giving an update on the Diversity Committee and she got shut down just for giving an update on the Diversity Committee. I want to have her back. I want to bring that committee back to the forefront of the town. I have 25 plus years in customer service. I mentioned that before. There's an empathy piece to it. There's a listening piece to it where it doesn't matter what the complaint is, what the issue is. You have to listen to it. You have to take it in and say, I hear you. I understand your pain. Here's what we can do, or here's the limitations. Here are the things that we might be able to work with you on. And I think that's a strength that and a particular value that I would add. I'm used to managing multi-million-dollar budgets, so the procedures and policies and constraints that the town has are certainly not a problem for me. And most importantly, though this is true of all of us, I absolutely love New Providence. I think New Providence is a fantastic town. I've raised my children here, and it breaks my heart when I go door to door and I talk to seniors who are telling me, hey, I need to downsize, but I don't think I can stay in town when I downsize. Is there anything that you can do to help? And in a case like that, I don't know if there's anything that I can do to help, but I sure as heck want to try. Thank you.
Just a quick rebuttal. I think going forward, we should have a little decorum here. Your comment about attacking a fellow councilwoman is completely inaccurate. We all take great pride in our diversity committee. You need to understand how the rules work and how the borough committees by the borough handbook work. We take great pride. I've served on that committee for 3 years. So has Diane. So has every other borough council member. So to make, just going forward, let's all be, not attack each other. Thank you.
I don't think it's a personal attack when it's just stating the fact. If she was shut down, she was shut down. It's not necessarily attacking anyone per se. So I get it. Let's stay cordial. Let's keep everything classy and work together from the Providence. I did want to, rebut one of the things that Diana said. That you said after the storm. I think it's more important to be proactive, rather than reactive. And about the website, I know the website has come a long way, but if you guys can find anything, that's great. But how can my 87-year-old neighbor?
Diane, you had your hand up.
We can talk about communications in detail on another level. I don't have, 30 seconds won't answer that question. But in respect to the comment about our seniors, I have a 98-year-old mother who's on a fixed income. I'm absolutely, totally involved with that. And it's one of our concerns for every resident and every borough council member. Sorry, I get a little emotional when I speak about my mother. We are AARP certified. We have done so many different things. We created a senior services on our borough council, and we have Michelle Massakudis' office right in town who can help.
We now move to question 2, or round 2 of 6, and the order of response is actually alphabetical. Alan, Alex, Brian, and Diane. And the question is this: how would you rate the quality and effectiveness of communications between the borough and our residents? So we'll start with Alan.
I'd say adequate or bare minimum at best. So look, anyone who knows me knows I love to talk. Ask my wife and she'll definitely tell you I talk too much. But as someone who is looking to be on council and represent our amazing town, there can never be enough talking and communication. And when I get on council, I plan on listening as well. Coffee with council has a nice ring to it, but I prefer town halls for all. One of the things I do is hold regularly scheduled town halls where real issues can be discussed and real solutions put forward. I wouldn't limit the public to a mere 3-minute window on a Tuesday night after a council meeting when everyone is half asleep. Don't get me wrong, the public comments for any agenda session would still be important, but active engagement and dialogue with our community is needed more. You can't spell the word community without starting with communication. I'd also implement a welcome wagon package whenever a new resident moves into town, introducing all members of council as well as their contacts, and more importantly, as a requirement for new residents to sign up for a smart 911 system, so that if and when there is an emergency, they can take the proper precautions. Although this only works if the smart 911 system is put into action. And while we're talking about action, how many residents even know that our town has an action line? Just 2 weeks ago at a council meeting, we heard several stories about how residents couldn't get in touch with the borough during that massive storm. And one woman even tried using the action line, and her ticket was simply dismissed before any so-called action had taken place. She had tried multiple times with the same outcome. You can literally hear how distraught and helpless she felt, explaining this to council. Rather than just an action line, I'd also like to launch a user-friendly 311-style portal for residents to report issues, as well as get updates. I believe so strongly in both these systems, I've worked tirelessly to promote it, and I'm willing to go door to door, even if it takes my entire 3-year term in office to try to get every member of the community registered. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex?
Thank you. So communication is key. That's what I do in my role, as I mentioned earlier. You need to listen to residents, you need to hear residents. There has to be many ways to address the needs. There are plenty of listening sessions that happen now on an annual basis. We have a traffic meeting with all the residents. Not many people attend. Anytime planning board, zoning board. The hot topic, of course, is high density housing. The planning board is extremely open and wants feedback from residents. That's an opportunity every couple of weeks. People can go and be heard. Smart 911 Notify Me works very well. You have to use it. Of course, there's times when all of our first responders on a major storm are out and about trying to help residents. You live and learn. You have to do better. We are doing better and will continue to do better. But to say that there's no opportunity for residents to get involved is also a false statement. Many ways. You can join a committee, you can be involved, you can come to a council meeting. We said coffee with council. People stop me at Dunkin' Donuts. We're at every single event. There's many events. You can look at the borough calendar that gets sent to every resident. There's a quarterly newsletter that goes out to every resident that tells you how to reach elected officials, how to reach various borough departments. So, of course, we have to evaluate and always do better, and we'll continue to do better. But right now, to say that it's mediocre at best is a false statement. Thank you.
I said that.
I said mediocre at best.
All right, so for me, it's a B minus, because the question was how would I rate the quality and effectiveness? And I say that for this reason. Several years back, my wife and I were out walking out back of AWR, and a random gentleman walked up to me and stopped me. I don't know how he knew me or if he just thought I might be a helpful looking person, and he said, "Can you help me with something? I'm trying to get the town to do something about this thing. Is there any way that you can help me?" I said, "Okay, we have an action line. You should go to the website, submit a thing." He's like, "Yeah, I've done that a couple of times and I never hear back." And this was years ago. So while I'm a big fan of continuous improvement, I don't know that there has been a lot of continuous improvement in this area. I'm a customer service person. We should be publishing the data on the action line. How many people call the action line? How long does it take for them to get a response? How long does it take for that to get resolved? And does the resolution actually satisfy the person? We're never going to satisfy 100% of folks. That's not even a question, but I think we need to evaluate what we're doing and be realistic about where there are opportunities for improvement. It's never going to be 100%, but I do think there's further to go. We've mentioned the borough website. I'm an IT guy. The last thing I want to do is yet another website revamp, but I personally have tried to find things on the borough website and have been frustrated every time. So I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I do think there's a user experience piece to that. It also, by the way, is very not mobile friendly. I mean, literally, we were having debate prep the other night. My wife was trying to file a permit for a tree removal online. She couldn't do it from her phone. There's a lot more that we can do to improve the communication bi-directionally with this town, because it's also listening. It's making sure that residents feel heard, that they have those opportunities, and that when they're not reaching out and engaging and coming to these sessions, that we find new ways, that we find other opportunities to get them engaged, make sure that they feel heard, so they feel reinforced in coming to us. Thank you.
Diane?
Great, thank you. I'm actually the communications chair this year. We are a borough. We have residents that are young and are old. We have to make sure that we plan for communication for every resident. We have people who don't have computers. We have people who have computers. I'll reference my mother again. My 98-year-old mother sends me GIFs. So we've got people like that, and then you've got 50-year-olds who can't use their iPhone. So we do plan for communication for every resident. Like you said, we have our website, which, by the way, is a canned website. There's only so many things that we can do if you go to other towns' websites. It's not an excuse, it's just a reality. But if you have a problem with the website, which people have called me and texted me or sent me an action line, we do try to fix it. We have the printed calendar, which is my absolutely favorite thing that we get in the borough of New Providence. It is sent out in the beginning of every year, has every single thing that we know about it. Never throw it out, keep it every year. It is wonderful. We have publications 3 times a year, like Councilman Kogan had mentioned, and actually we have phones. So your last line of defense could be a phone, okay? Councilman Kogan talked about all of our public sessions. He also didn't mention that all of our council people, especially us, we're always at every event. We love our events. We're kind of like historical society junkies. So another council person that I'd like to reference is Matt Comiskey. He has said at council meetings and at planning board meetings, our residents are our greatest asset. Our residents are our greatest asset, and we as council people love working with them. We love when you come up to us. We love when you tell us something. We love when we can go back and forth and try to solve a problem. So to say that you've never sent me a message about the website, I'd love to hear what you have to think about it. Again, contact us. We are here for you. We represent you, and we love doing this job. Thank you.
Rebuttal, Alan?
Alex, with all due respect, and I'm trying to keep it classy, but you're not listening. I'll even show you the words, and you can roll the tape. I said adequate or bare minimum at best. I never said mediocre. Also, coffee with council. I'm hearing that nobody shows up. No offense, but having, you know, a non-specific or an unofficial listening session that's not, you know, orchestrated with like an agenda, I think is really important to just get residents excited to come out and talk about it. Thank you.
Just something I forgot to mention. So the one thing, thank you, Alan. Sorry if I misquoted you. The one thing I take great pride in being in the service response industry, service response. When I get an action line request, I email people back. Sometimes the answer is not what they want to hear. I call the 121 Shanlin issue. I received numerous emails. I called every single person back. So there's no specific examples. Every action line that goes to a council person or the mayor gets a very good response. A personal response at that. Thank you.
For that, all I'm saying is let's see the stats. Let's look at the data and let's make an assessment on what's working and what's not, just based on the data. Though that said, I do love the calendar, not gonna lie.
I forgot to mention that our communication plan is a living document and it's up for review this year, and we're actually working very hard to review that. So again, if you have comments, let us know. And the July 14th storm, we called every single person and we changed our communications going forward, and we learn. We learn every single time we do something, and we listen.
For question 3, the order will be Brian, Diane, Alan, Alex. Brian.
What's the question?
Okay.
I can make it up myself.
What do you think are the biggest issues facing this community in the next 3 years, and how does your experience help you address those issues?
The things that we hear over and over from residents is the challenges with overdevelopment, keeping taxes under control, and the traffic and the safety issues that we have in our town. I think I have a ton of experience in terms of problem solving. There are 3 things that, generally speaking, we can do. We can legislate, we can collaborate, and we can communicate. I would reach out to our neighboring towns, find out what's working for them, what isn't working for them, and find out where we can partner with them. Again, we've talked about communication, but I would also find where are those ordinances that we can tighten up, that we can fix. One of the things that was very interesting to me at the planning board meeting in the beginning of July was they were talking about this overlay, and we may get into this a little bit more, but one of the borough employees said, well, that wasn't the, speaking to the Toll Brothers, said that wasn't the intent of the ordinance, and the lawyer for the applicant basically said, yeah, but that's not what the ordinance says. So I want to see where can we tighten stuff up. As we look ahead 5, 10, 20 years down the road, I want to make sure that we're keeping New Providence green, that we're keeping the taking control back from the developers, and I think that is something that we collaboratively can do. And I agree about living and learning. If the current ordinances and practices aren't working, let's figure that out now. Instead of the next time we have developers ready to build. Thank you.
I'm going to take the financial route here. Inflation is not a zero-sum game. If mismanaged, it can be disastrous for our borough and our residents. Inflation means prices increase across the board. They can be random and unpredictable. At the pump, at the grocery store, utilities, especially electric, healthcare, just to name a few. The borough has guaranteed small, predictable, and consistent increases in our taxes, while expanding services and maintaining comfortable reserves. After the July 14th storm, New Providence used a portion of our reserves, and still have reserves, while Berkeley Heights needed to go out for $3.5 million in an emergency bond, just to get things back to status quo. New Providence taxes are roughly 60% school district, 20% Union County, 20% is in the council's control, 20 cents on the dollar. Personnel costs, union contracts, contractual obligations, recycling, garbage, gas, utilities, all those things are out of our control. In the last couple of years, the inflation rate has, I'll give you 2024, because 2024 was the year that I chaired the finance committee. Inflation was 2.9%. The increase in New Providence was 0.89%, a $58 increase. Yes, I know it's an increase, but it's minimal, and it's a lot less than our inflation. Our opponents have said they want a zero tax increase. It sounds nice, but it is not a real solution without cutting essential services. Taxes are going up, but thanks to our conservative care, our tax increase has consistently been less than half of the inflation rate. Technically, in real money, you can actually say taxes are going down. And the borough is doing more with less. I have the experience to understand and oversee borough finances, which is why I feel I've already got added value, and which is why I feel it's one of our issues over the next 3 years and going forward. And we do plan accordingly, and we do look at things.
What do you think are the biggest issues facing this community in the next 3 years, and how does your experience help you address them?
I wish I could say, redesigning the Acme parking lot was a specialty of mine, but unfortunately it's not, but that's what I hear a lot of. Taxes are going down because these multi-million-dollar properties are going up and they're paying more property tax, so it's lightening the load for us. But once the reassessment comes in from Union County and New Providence gets reassessed on their property values, I expect taxes will go up. The things that I hear most that we want to address are traffic, flooding, keeping seniors in town. One of the things that really sort of strikes a nerve with me is that when we went to the Toll Brothers meeting, I spoke to the engineer outside, and should have done it on the record, but they were telling me that the Deerfield flume hasn't been cleaned out completely in 5 years. And it goes back to that sort of thing where we need proactive responses rather than reactive. A lot of the things plaguing our town right now are real estate driven and overdevelopment. And that's where sort of I come in, and I think I can do a really good job in terms of negotiating with developers looking for land to develop and trying to meet affordable housing obligations without breaking the bank and breaking our taxpaying residents' backs.
So Diane took the financial route facing New Providence. I'm going to talk about stormwater management. It's a hot topic, something that I'm deeply passionate about in solving. And I'm glad Brian mentioned in his remarks about the ordinances. So just quickly to update some folks. New Providence in 1975 put in its first stormwater management plan. 2006, that plan was updated that stated that new developments cannot increase more stormwater runoff from their property. In 2024, just last year, we put in based on DEP input, one of the strongest ordinances on stormwater management, which now requires new construction, such as these new developments, to reduce the water runoff. We are plagued by the Passaic River. It's a problem. It's a problem that we're not going to solve by ourselves. We've had the DEP, the Army Corps of Engineers, the state, you name it. I've reached out to the DEP myself. What can we do with the Passaic River? As an engineer, one should realize all of our water has to go to the Passaic River. When the Passaic River floods, that water has nowhere to go. We have some isolated incidents that we need to address, and we've been addressing. The Deerfield flume, we spent $80,000 in revitalizing it, maintaining it, and it gave us great results. In the last storm, Diane and I went over there just to see the results, which were tremendous. Recently, we had some issues on 3rd and 4th Street. We put some investment in. All of this was also done with budgeted money. Neighboring towns have to borrow $3.5 million, our next door neighbors, just to address some of their needs. We plan for it, we're gonna be preventative and predictive going forward, and we're gonna address everyone's needs. That's a promise.
Any rebuttals? Diane? So Alan mentioned something about taxes, getting more taxes from development. Well, it's actually not more taxes because we had industry there before and they were paying taxes. So when a developer comes in who is looking to maximize their profit, which is a different story, it's usually a zero-sum game. And the overdevelopment and the overlay zones, there's not enough time in 30 seconds to discuss it, but if there's another question, we'll get to it. If not, come talk to us and we can give you all the actual facts.
That's not what I said.
Okay, everybody?
Yes.
Real quick, just so everyone understands, we don't negotiate with developers. Developers put in a plan. The plans go to our, they have to submit stormwater runoff, everything, parking, everything that's required in an application. That goes through our planning board, who looks through it with a fine-tooth comb. We don't go to a developer and say, build us a park, build us a field. It's a process, it's a legal process. So backdoor deals do not exist in this town.
Sure, why not? One of the things that I found really fascinating, and if you have a couple hours, go back and watch the last Borough Council meeting. The Borough Engineer came and spent about half an hour talking about how, you know, we've done everything we can, there's nothing we can do, and I agree with many of the things he said. There's a lot of work that has been done over the last 20 years, but he kept saying there's nothing more we can do, we've done everything that we can do, and then resident after resident came up and said something has changed in the last few years. What about this thing? What about that thing? Oh yeah, we can take a look at that. Oh yeah, we can fix that. I think what we're asking for is to acknowledge that something has changed and get proactive about fixing it.
Thank you. Off to round 4, and the order will be Diane, Brian, Alex, and Alan. And the question is, how do you feel the borough is handling and meeting their affordable housing obligations? And again, this starts with Diane.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. How do you feel the borough is handling and meeting their affordable housing obligations?
Sorry. How do I feel that borough is handling our affordable housing obligations? So affordable housing obligations are state mandated. And if you actually go to the borough website, under government, affordable housing, there's a presentation of our planner, which was excellent, and there's a detailed report on there, which actually gives you everything from the Mount Laurel in the 70s all the way to today. So we've actually been very proactive. We've always met our obligation. Just gonna quickly go to round 4, okay? Round 4, we do not have any available land, but we had certain credit. The affordable housing plan had a 25% that we needed to fulfill. And we actually had been proactive with recertifying, sorry, I can't think of the word right now, some of our affordable housing units, both sales and rentals. So we actually only had 3 additional units that we needed to satisfy for round 4. So that was excellent. Round 3, actually our special master, who is from the courts, said our plan was one of the best he has ever seen. We actually are very proactive. We know what's going on in the town. All the things that people don't see until there's a problem, which we've been doing, things like wastewater treatment plant, all of those things we know, and we're considering them. The special master said that our plan was one of the best that he's ever seen because we maximized over 55 so that it wouldn't impact the schools. We have it in a specific overlay zone so it wouldn't impact individual neighborhoods. We have it close to shopping and schools and everything else. So we've been very proactive with this. It is a court mandated decision and our hands are tied related to how many units that we have to.
Brian, same question.
I mean, for me, I would say just look around. This and the issues related to it are top of mind for everyone. And you know, to me, the silver lining is that the July 1st planning board meeting was the most well-attended planning board meeting in the history of the town, which I love to see. The problem for me is that right now people don't feel like they have a chance to weigh in until after the decision is made. You know, one of the things that was interesting about that planning board meeting is that most of the details of it had already been settled. But it, you know, even in that particular case, it wasn't the 21 affordable units that most people were worried about. It was the massive, ridiculously huge and overpriced rest of the units that were causing the bulk of the problem. So, you know, for me, it's time to get creative. Affordable housing has been a reality for decades through multiple administrations in this state under both parties. It's a reality. I think we can tighten up our ordinances. I think they're often well-intended, but it's leaving too much room for developers to wedge whatever they want in. So for me, I'm really looking to look forward, what's coming down the pike, and make sure that we're not stuck in the same place that we are right now. Thank you.
So thank you. I'll just echo some of the comments Diane made. So New Providence has been ahead of this for several years. As we mentioned, the overlay zones. There's something called builder's remedy. If your borough does not meet the requirements, the affordable housing requirements, builder's remedy would allow the developer to buy 3 or 4 homes in your own neighborhood and then put an apartment building, and there's nothing you can do about it. So prior councils, and I see some of the members here, came up with a wonderful plan that is helping New Providence going forward. We have this overlay zone, which is in call it the industrial area of town, which will be the only place that developers can be putting in housing. The elephant in the room, nobody in this room here wants high-density housing. Affordability is a huge issue. I have 2 sons over there that can't afford an apartment, so they're living at home. And we need to meet our mandate for affordable housing, whether it's for seniors or whether it's for young professionals. But having the foresight to put it there, close to our schools, close to the downtown, close to the train station. If I'm a developer, I would love to come to this town. This is a great town. It's beautiful. It's got a great community. Why wouldn't you want to maximize your profit? And unfortunately, that's what these developers are doing. Affordable housing is a little smoke and mirrors. It's really high-density housing. They want to maximize profit. The law is behind them. We can't change the law. We have to work within the law and do the best that we can. Thank you.
I tend to agree with a lot of things that Alex said, but the fact that the council throws up their hands and says we've done everything and there's nothing more we can do is kind of a cop-out. Finger pointing and blaming Trenton is not only the wrong approach, it's a real disservice to our community. Now, my background is in real estate, property management, and I've done some work in consulting with inclusionary and stabilized housing. What are the facts? The council approved the inclusionary housing overlay back in 2019, and that essentially sent a message to developers to come pick the gold from our streets. They have all the power and control and stand to make millions on this development, plus saturating our community with hundreds of unaffordable units, and with it a host of traffic, parking, stormwater runoff, and overcrowded classroom concerns. So when I get on council, I'd investigate the possibility of a town ordinance which would theoretically give us the right of first refusal for all new developments within this inclusionary housing overlay, and essentially give us the purchase power to acquire the land ourselves. Why do we need hundreds beyond hundreds of these high-density, unaffordable units that will most likely sit empty when all we needed was 20 or 30 affordable units to satisfy this past phase with our mandated affordable housing requirements? So in the past 2 months, I've done a lot of walking around the neighborhood and I've talked to hundreds of residents. This is not a partisan issue, it affects everyone. So we need to be creative and forward-thinking as our next affordable housing requirement is coming up in 2035. The keys to the vault with respect to the Toll Brothers have already been given away, and I'm afraid the only thing we can do is look to the future. I feel we can meet our requirements without the need for more high-density housing development. Neighboring towns like Madison were able to do it. Why can't we? We should look to collaborate with these towns on their blueprint, make use of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, investigate other subsidies offered by the state or federal government, and use nonprofits specifically formed to build these affordable units, and then either sell or lease these units back to our teachers, first responders, our parents, or our grandparents. And the best part is, the proceeds and benefits could go right back into our community in the hands of our tax-paying residents.
Thank you, Rebecca. Alex?
Sure. Just quick comment. I know you want more public sessions, but one of the best public sessions we had was our borough planner, McKinley Hertz, clearly defined all the things that we've done as a borough council, what we're mandated to do, and there's something that's called the law. We have to follow the law. The law says these developers can come and build under this builder's remedy because many small towns do not meet their mandate. Until that happens, we cannot change the law. This is not a partisan issue, I agree, but at the same time, the borough, if we could address it and fix it, we would have done it many years ago.
Diane?
And I urge everyone to go to the website because that is a comprehensive, detailed information about why it is the law. And actually, if you look at Berkeley Heights, the high-density housing there is crazy. And the people who are buying these overlay zone industries, they're private companies, right? We don't have control over what a private company comes in and does. So yes, our hands are tied. No, we don't like it. We all want affordable housing. We don't want high-density housing. And thank you.
Whether it's properties the borough owns or properties the borough could explore purchasing, we need to try. You guys did it with Barabash and could have established a precedent. So do it again and knock off some of our housing obligations. What about the Nokia property? Are you even aware that developers are planning to build and develop the land on our side of the property, literally right under your nose? Why aren't we meeting with that developer? Why aren't there public listen sessions? You say there is no land to develop, but you're not paying attention. The borough needs to sign off on the rezoning of that land. We have a perfect opportunity to negotiate with them, having them build 100% affordable units on our side, which could knock off a huge chunk of the obligation without paying a cent. Sorry.
The order for the candidates for question 5 will be Alex, Alan, Diane, Brian. The question is, one of the most important concerns of our citizens is the impact the Mount Laurel decisions have had on our community. Please summarize how it has impacted New Providence, your position on what is happening, and how you would advance your opinion, either if you are in favor of the impact or against the impact in New Providence.
Thank you. So I think you heard my comments earlier, kind of a similar question, but I'll use my time to address some of the comments I just heard a minute ago. We are well aware of what's happening in Berkeley Heights. 80% of that property is Berkeley Heights. 20% of that property along Mountain Avenue is our property. We are, Councilwoman Belisca will tell you that she's attended those meetings. Those meetings are driven by the developer to push people a certain way, to think a certain way. The developer there will maximize the profit. They will build mixed-use buildings. The vast majority of it is going to be housing. We have to protect our asset, the 500 feet, 42 acres roughly, along Mountain Avenue. We will do the best we can. We will make the best deal possible for New Providence. We do not want to take their wastewater. We do not want to have the traffic affect our town. We will do everything possible. Our mayor and some of our council people have met with the developers. Right now, there's absolutely zero to share with the public. Once there's a concrete plan, once there's concrete evidence of what we need to discuss with our residents, we'll be extremely transparent. This is in our best interest to do the best for New Providence. To answer the actual question, I am completely against high-density housing. The question was, do we support the Mount Laurel decision? As I said before, we've made a wonderful plan. I love the plan. It's constantly changing, evolving, and it is definitely not in our best interest to use tax dollars to buy land and manage property. That is not what New Providence is about. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan?
I've heard the council say that, we're not in the business of being landlords, but I am. This is what I do for a living. I have no problem accepting the responsibility of managing a property, whether it's a small property or large property. I manage 26 properties in Brooklyn, New York. I have no problem going back and forth. So look, I hate high-density housing as well. Even though I'm from New York and I work in real estate, when it comes, we moved here, for that small town feel. And I feel like, my wife is a testament to this, and she can testify to this. I feel like in the past four times that we've moved, the city has followed us. We lived in, downtown New York City, and then we moved to downtown Brooklyn. And then we're like, okay, finally, we're in the suburbs. And then within a matter of 3 years, building, boom, 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 just popped up everywhere. So, when COVID happened, we're like, we have to move out to the real suburbs. Move to the suburbs. And now, high-density housing, high-density housing, high-density housing. I'm against it. And I think there are ways that we can meet our obligation without the need for high-density housing. Even going back to last year when I ran for council, we were at Lantern Hill, and every single person was like, what do you think is going to happen with the Nokia property? And we didn't know. I would have loved to see a satellite wing of a college go in there, or a technology wing, or something maybe from like Rutgers. But we only own 10% of the land, so we don't really have that much of a say. But we should be meeting with Berkeley Heights. We should have a joint council meeting with their council and our council to discuss ways that we can work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane? Thank you. I'm just going to bounce off of a couple of things here. And actually, one little known fact, because I've said this to a couple of people and they're like, what? The New Jersey legislature and governor have excluded, I think it's something like 85 towns from the current fourth round obligation. So your towns like Trenton, Elizabeth, Newark, Camden, et cetera, are not even in the affordable housing number that has to be distributed to the rest of the towns. But they are building affordable units. So the question herein is, why is that not taken out of the calculation? And that has to go back to the legislature in Trenton. I kept telling people the best kept secret about New Providence, don't tell anybody how wonderful we are and what a great town we are, but somehow it got out, so sorry, that's how, everybody wants to be here. Double-edged sword, right? We love our town, it's wonderful, we have all these great things, but it is desirable, and that's why these builders keep coming. A councilperson's role is oversight and policy. We're not in the business of telling the borough, well, we are in the business of working with our borough administration and our borough professionals, but they're in the business of making decisions. We work with them. We don't just tell them what to do in regard to, go buy a piece of property. And we study, and we look, and we see what's in the best interest for the residents of the town. Forget what you said, but there's something about confidentiality that might have been a problem. Sorry, I didn't write my whole notes. And we have offered to have meetings with Berkeley Heights on this issue, and especially the Nokia property, and they declined to have a meeting with us at the time. But we will keep channels of communication open. We always have channels of communication, and all of the information related to the affordable housing settlements are public information.
Thank you. Brian?
So look, Mount Laurel is what it is. The laws are what they are. The way that the legislatures, again, over the last 5 decades have implemented them are what they are. In brainstorming and problem solving, we call that the givens, right? These are the givens that we have to deal with. What I want to do is brainstorm, and I want to get creative. Many of the rules about the developers only come in if we're not already meeting our affordable housing obligations some other way. So let's get people together. Let's throw 15 things at the wall and see which 1 or 2 stick. Let's find a way, even if it's onesie twosies, to meet our obligation without having to yield control to the developers, who will come in and then put in the maximum that they can possibly put in. I think there's a lot of opportunities for creativity. There's again, even if it's 1 or 2 things here and there, I think we can add that up and really create a plan that doesn't rely on us ceding control to the developers. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. Alex?
So I've spent 3 years on the zoning board, but I have not been on the planning board. But the one thing I can't explain how this process works is an application comes in for a property. If it's a conforming application, there's no brainstorming. By law, they're allowed to build what they're allowed to build based on the law. We can ask for things, we can work peacefully with them and see, can you do this, can you do that? And the planning board does that all the time. So does the mayor, so does the council. But you receive an application, the way that Mount Laurel decision works with the builder's remedy is very simple. Comply with your application, approval will be coming.
Thank you.
In addition to that, we cannot change the, what we have agreed to in the courts in 2019, because if we change our overlay zones for our third round, then everything is thrown out, and what Alex Cogan said before about a developer coming in and buying a couple of properties next to each other and building anywhere in the town. So it was designed specifically to keep it in different parts. Expertise and experience on council. One of the things, for example, a little known fact possibly, the Bard Field, Becton Dickinson Field, that actually was a negotiation with the developer.
Thank you.
And we now move to round 6, our final round, and the order is Alan, Alex, Brian, and Diane. And the question is, you're running for council on a major party's ticket. Do you support the platform and values of that party, and why? So again, the first response is from Alan.
Absolutely. I believe in a woman's right to choose. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in democracy. I believe our society does better when all its citizens are healthy and educated. I believe in legal immigration and due process, and I'm against cutting or redirecting school funding. I am proud to run as a Democrat, and I want to be clear, party matters. It's not just a label on the ballot. It's a set of values that guide how you govern when the cameras are off. I've knocked on hundreds of doors in New Providence, and what I hear is the same thing over and over. People want to know what party I represent. They are worried about affordability, transparency, and whether local government listens to them. Those are Democratic values, and that's why I'm running. Democrats believe that seniors should be able to age in place, that our teachers, police officers, and EMTs should have a shot at living in town where they serve. Democrats believe residents deserve a real voice before big decisions are made, not closed-door deals and after-the-fact approvals. And Democrats believe fairness in taxes means protecting working families, not cutting special deals for insiders. That's the difference in values. Now, here's where it matters locally. My opponents are running as Republicans. If they stand up and say, yes, I stand with my party, then they are telling you they stand with Donald Trump's Republican Party, with its values, with its attacks on institutions, and with leaders like Jack Citarelli, who they campaign with right here at Prestige Diner. If that's where they stand, voters deserve to know it. But if they say, no, party doesn't matter, it's just about New Providence, then be wary of that response too. Because you don't get to run under a party label, attend party events, and take support from party leaders, and then wash your hands of responsibility when the platform is unpopular. You can't have it both ways. Either you believe in your party's values or you don't. And if you don't, why are you asking voters to trust you under that banner? For me, there's no hiding the ball. I'm a Democrat because I believe in fairness, transparency, and protecting the people who built this town. Voters deserve leaders who are honest about where they stand, not ones who dodge a question when it's inconvenient. Thank you.
Alex?
Thank you. I'm amazed that we have all these issues with affordable housing, stormwater management, traffic safety, that you would pose a question about national politics. I'm a Republican, Diane is a Republican. I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 8.5 years old. I came here, it was Jimmy Carter, it was Ronald Reagan. We had both Bushes, we had Bill Clinton, we had Barack Obama, we had Donald Trump, Joe Biden. All of those are my president. I love this country. Party should not matter at this local level. I do not base my decisions on what Donald Trump says, what Jack Citarelli says. I worry about the residents of New Providence. This is such a great community. I could care less if you like Donald Trump, don't like Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with our daily lives here at the decisions that I have to make. I'm not legislating on gun control. I'm not legislating on abortion. I care about the infrastructure of our town. I care about the safety of our town. And I want to keep our taxes low. So Putting us in a corner, yes, I'm a Republican, and I'm proud to be a Republican. Thank you.
Thank you. And Brian?
So listen to what you just heard. The question was about values, and the answer was about national politics. I absolutely support the values and platform of the Democratic Party. I may not love every single thing that every single Democrat in this country does, and we can talk about that offline at some length, but taken all together, I strongly support the values of the ticket that I am running on. I support the Constitution and the rule of law. I believe that healthcare, education, food security, and due process are human rights. I support members of the BIPOC and LGBT communities because I believe that love is love. And I know almost all of us are immigrants to this wonderful melting pot of a country because the Lenape and other tribes were certainly here first. I want to grow a thriving economy that prioritizes those who have the least over those who have the most. And I support the overwhelming majority of the scientific community who tell us that climate change is happening, it is human-made, and I just have to look out my window to know that it is affecting us here in New Providence. I value hope over fear, love over hate, and I want to strengthen our democracy, not take it away from people who don't look like me. Now, that said, the business of the borough is not dictated by a party platform, but here in New Providence, we desperately need more diverse voices, a more collaborative environment, brainstorming instead of stagnant single-party rule. I want to be a representative for all to ensure we are a government for the entire town.
Thank you. Diane?
Interestingly, no one would have known what my party was 4 years ago before I served on council. And I've worked with every single age group and group in this town. So it's an interesting question. Yes, I am a Republican. I am conservative. I have conservative values. Doesn't mean that my cousins who are, oh gosh, I'm totally blanking. He's gender fluid, I guess. Doesn't mean I don't love him and respect him and I wouldn't govern for him. I believe in fiscal responsibility. I believe in safety first. I believe in limited government. I believe in trusting our experts. I believe in our borough administration. They do a wonderful job. We have paved, I can't even tell you what, 80% of the streets in New Providence. We have taken care of our wastewater treatment plant. We have done all these things because we all love New Providence, and it doesn't matter what our political affiliation is at the top. The role of a council member is to uphold the Constitution of the United States and to uphold the Constitution of the state of New Jersey. It is to work with our surrounding towns. It is to, talking about surrounding towns, shared services, which we are the poster children in New Providence for. It is to work with everybody and to do what is best for the most residents. And I think that our track record speaks for itself. I think that we've done a good job and we are willing to do more.
Thank you. Thoughts?
Just real quick, I know the mayor says this all the time, and we practice this. There is no difference between Republicans and Democrats of how they pave roads, how they fix potholes, how they take care of the lights, and how they manage your taxes locally. We are not going to win the straight ticket Democrat votes. That's not who we're after. We're all here to serve every New Providence resident, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I'm not going to answer your email or not listen to your concerns, whether party or not. It's just like the school board. There's no party affiliation. So vote for the people that are most qualified. Thank you.
No?
Values matter. That's all I have to say.
I agree 100% that values matter, and actually, if you talk to a Republican and you talk to a Democrat, a lot of the values that we think we both have are the same thing. So I think we're all saying that we love this town and we would work for this town. But again, experience also matters.
We'll now move on to closing statements. The order will be Diane, Alan, Alex, Brian. You have 1.5 minutes for your closing statement. Diane?
I have worn many hats in my life, but being a councilwoman is one of my favorites. I have worked with every age level in this town, from preschoolers and their caregivers to grammar, middle, and high schoolers, their parents, and the senior population. As a councilwoman, I am proud of the track record. Alex Cogan and I are seasoned council members with invaluable experience in and around New Providence. We are the team that provides proven leadership with a solid track record of keeping the safety of our residents and community foremost in all of our actions. We value our first responders, our borough employees, and our experts. I know the meaning and importance of a AAA bond rating and being fiscally responsible. I constantly strive to keep the best interests of our residents foremost in my mind at all times. We love hearing from our residents, no matter what the feedback or the topic. We welcome input and actually actively seek it. Over the last 3 years, Councilman Cogan and I have spoken to literally thousands of residents. We welcome discourse, we thrive on discussion, our borough prospers with dialogue. This is a very important election. With the issues of state-mandated high-density housing and overdevelopment, rising costs across the state like energy and healthcare, and infrastructure upgrades, New Providence needs people with experience. Belisca and Cogan are the team that will continue to put the best interest of the borough first. It's not about personal or political gain. It's about New Providence. Thank you for your time. Please vote Cogan and Belisca on or before Election Day.
Thank you. Alan?
Thank you for coming. I'd like to thank everyone for making this candidate forum and debate happen. It has not been without challenges the past few years, especially without an independent moderator like the League of Women Voters. However, I would like to sincerely thank our moderators tonight for taking the time out of their busy schedules to help make this event what it is. I'd also like to thank our opponents for keeping it classy and respectful. But I'd especially like to thank my running mate and good friend Brian Gardner, as well as the entire Democratic Committee of New Providence and all of the New Providence residents for showing up. We have a lot of work to do, and I look forward to the next few months getting back on the campaign trail and continuing to engage with all New Providence residents. You are the lifeblood and backbone of this community, and you deserve to be heard. I am a Democrat, and I share most, if not all, of the values of my party. That being said, I'm not a party line stooge. As I've said repeatedly in the past, I'm more than just that guy. I'm an issuist. I'm my own person. I'm dedicated to building a better New Providence together. The same 60-year single-party rule has splintered, and we saw that firsthand last election when we elected the first Democrat to council. And we will continue to be the voice of the people, and hopefully give her the support she needs and our town deserves. In closing, make sure you vote. Make sure you register to vote, and request your vote by mail ballot. And more importantly, don't let anyone, and I mean anyone, tell you voting by mail should be eliminated or is somehow corrupt. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your summer. And who are we?
Happy!
Go Pioneers. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex?
Thank you, Teresa. Hopefully you learned a little bit about my background today and see exactly how I've made an impact on Borough Council due to my engineering experience and commitment to the community service. I just don't check the box and say that I serve on a committee. I lead, add value to try to make New Providence better. Just to go off the script, the last time in the debate, I know my mother will be watching this on video, so I need to mention none of this would happen for me if it wasn't for my parents seeking a better life for me and my brother many years ago. My parents had the courage to immigrate to this beautiful country from the former Soviet Union when I was 8.5 years old to seek the American dream. So as I sit here today, I'm a product of that American dream. Diane and I have focused on the positive aspects of our charming town tonight. Let's not forget what a great town New Providence really is. In our brief time on Borough Council, we accomplished major investment to the wastewater treatment plant between $1 million to $1.5 million. We paved over 80% of the streets. We installed the first ever public charging station in New Providence. My only request for all of you in the audience and those watching on video, vote for the candidates that are most qualified and experienced to manage our precious tax dollars. Many small towns will be facing external challenges in the next several years. Diane and I are by far the most qualified to lead New Providence in addressing those needs. Thank you, and please vote column A on Election Day.
Thank you. Brian?
Alright, I also want to extend a warm thank you to our moderators, to all of my fellow candidates, and for everyone for joining us. My notes say something clever goes here. I'm just not feeling very clever right now. There is a lot that unites us. I think we can all agree on that. I actually, agree with many of the things that have been said. I think our town is very well fiscally managed. I think that there's a lot of good stuff going on in New Providence. What I want to ask you to do is think about the differences in what you've heard up here. Where is the status quo the best we can do, and where is there room for improvement? Where, my colleague up here mentioned that our website is canned and that's all that we can do with it. Let's get a new can. Let's look at the places where we can find a way to make a meaningful improvement, be transparent, share data with our residents, and engage them in the process. Anything that we can do, we're good, let's get better. I really feel very passionately about that. I have 25 plus years experience, professional experience, all of which is directly relevant. I've been deeply engaged with matters in the town, with the Board of Education. Everything that is important about our town, I have experience in and want to help with. I look forward to working with all of you as one of your next Borough Council members here in New Providence. Let's make greater things happen together. Alan and I humbly ask for your votes. Column B is the place to be.
You can clap now, guys.
Yeah. We would like to close this forum by thanking all of the candidates for their participation in our democratic process. I also like to thank our fabulous timekeeper, Karen Meister, and I'd also like to thank Teresa for serving as my co-moderator this evening. To the voters, please. Best dressed. To the voters, please remember to vote on Tuesday, November 4th from your polling place. The polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can also vote early at this or any early voting location in Union County. Early voting polling locations will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Mondays through Saturdays and from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. If you're registered to vote by mail, be sure to return your ballot via mail, the ballot drop box in the New Providence Library parking lot or at the Union County Clerk's office. And be sure to return your ballot by 8 p.m. on Election Day.
Thank you and good night.